Nah, man, I'm not going in there. It reminds me of a horror movie I once saw.
Friday the 13th?
No.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
No.
The Ring? Blair Witch Project?
No.
Hello, Jen.
Hello, Mrs. Miller. I'm the pretty girl.
She is.
And movies that you never ever want to see again. Some of the worst movies I've seen in my entire life were released this past decade, aka The Fanatic. So today on Top 10 Beyond the Screen, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 10 worst movies of the decade. Before we begin though, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. And with that, let's jump in. Coming in at number 10, The Legend of Hercules 2014. The Legend of Hercules is a 3D action fantasy film directed by Renny Harlin and stars Kellen Lutz, aka the worst actor I've ever seen in my life, and other people that most of us don't know. It is one of the two Hollywood studio Hercules films released in 2014, alongside Hercules starring The Rock, which was released 6 months prior. The Legend of Hercules was a box office bomb and received extremely negative reviews, unlike Hercules, which was a success. The movie follows Hercules, of course, who is sold into slavery by his stepfather, and unknown to him, he possesses extraordinary strength. As it stands, the movie holds a 3% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with the general consensus being, I quote, "cheap looking, poorly acted, and dull. The Legend of Hercules is neither fun enough to qualify as an action movie nor absorbing enough to work on a dramatic level. Respect." Coming in at 9, The Ridiculous Six 2015. The Ridiculous Six is a western action comedy directed by Frank Coraci and written by Adam Sandler. The movie stars Sandler, Terry Crews, Taylor Lautner, Rob Schneider, and Luke Wilson, and follows 6 men who discover that they share the same bank-robbing father, and thereafter set out to reunite with him. The film was instantly panned upon release and currently holds an approval rating of 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Respect. The critical consensus reads, I quote, "every bit as lazily offensive as its cast and concept would suggest. The Ridiculous Six is standard couch fare for Adam Sandler's fanatics and must avoid viewing for film enthusiasts of every other persuasion." Wow, shots fired. The film as a whole lacks substance, relies on lazy and at times racist humor, and is perhaps one of the most poorly written scripts in history. Coming in at 8, Killers 2010. Killers is a 2010 action comedy film directed by Robert Luketic and starring Katherine Heigl and Ashton Kutcher. The movie centers on a young woman who meets the man of her dreams who turns out to be an assassin. Lovely stuff. The movie was absolutely atrocious, with it holding a surprisingly high rating of 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, with the consensus being dull, formulaic, and chemistry-free. Killers is an action comedy that's largely bereft of thrills or laughs, probably because it has Katherine Heigl, one of the least talented actresses in Hollywood, aside from in Grey's Anatomy. She was great in Grey's. The movie is just boring, and if you value your time and money, don't watch it. Don't even think about it. Don't even look at it. Coming in at 7, Accidental Love 2015. Despite being directed by David O. Russell, the man behind Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle, this movie is utter trash. Released in 2015 and starring Jessica Biel, Jake Gyllenhaal, Catherine Keener, Tracy Morgan, and Josh Brolin, the movie follows a clueless politician who falls in love with a waitress whose erratic behavior is caused by a nail stuck in her head. Yeah, that is the real plot. Now, despite a handful of charming moments, the movie is just straight up messy and unfocused and scrapes the bottom of the rom-com barrel. As of right now, the movie holds a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, with most folks giving it unfavorable reviews. Coming in at 6, Vampires Suck 2010. Vampires Suck is a parody film directed by Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer and is a direct parody of Twilight. It centers on a teenager who must choose between a vampire and a werewolf, both of whom attempt to woo her. To make matters worse, she must deal with her controlling father and a group of killer vampires on the loose. The film was of course panned upon its release, with it receiving an approval rating of 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. The consensus reads, I quote, "witlessly broad and utterly devoid of laughs, Vampires Suck represents a slight step forward for the Friedberg-Seltzer team. The film as a whole is full of cheap high school humor, flatulence jokes, and even groin-kicking jokes." So, coming in at 5, The Human Centipede 3 Final Sequence. The Human Centipede 3 Final Sequence is a satirical body horror movie written and directed by Tom Six. It is the 3rd and final installment of Tom Six's Human Centipede trilogy, thank God. The plot centers on a sadistic warden and his right-hand man who hatch a scheme to suture 500 inmates together in order to punish his prisoners, ass to mouth. Now, as the title states, it promises it will be the final sequence in the franchise, leading us all to breathe a sigh of relief, thank God. The movie as a whole is ugly and painful to watch, and after the second installment there was honestly nowhere to go but down, and that it did. It sank hard and fast. To quote Vulture, nope, I think this may be my favorite review of all time. The movie is big in the sense of themes, color, and performances, however these are the reasons the film fails, with Tom Six being unable to hide behind his torture porn and revulsion. Coming in at 4, The Last Airbender 2010. The Last Airbender is an action-adventure fantasy film written, co-produced, and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. The movie centers on Aang, a 12-year-old boy who must put his childhood aside to impede chaos that the Fire Nation is creating. He embarks on a quest to restore harmony in the nations of water, earth, and air. The film was panned by critics and fans of the animated series upon its release, with it holding an approval rating of 5% on Rotten Tomatoes, making it one of the lowest rated films ever produced by Nickelodeon Movies, which says a lot because Nick is just behind the 2005 remake of Yours, Mine and Ours. The consensus reads, I quote, "The Last Airbender squanches its popular source material with incomprehensible plotting, horrible acting, and detached, joyless direction." Roger Ebert even wrote that the film was an agonizing experience in every category. Coming in at 3, Movie 43 2013. Directed by 12 directors, including Peter Farrelly, Griffin Dunne, and Ratner, Movie 43 is a collection of outrageous spoofs and stories. A handful being a seemingly perfect man has an unusual blemish on his neck, aka a scrotum. Superheroes attend a speed dating event, as well as 2 people on a blind date try to break the ice by playing Truth or Dare. Now this movie is just straight up bad, but stars seemingly everyone from Naomi Watts to Kate Winslet, Hugh Jackman to Anna Faris. I have no idea why these actors signed on, or what script they read, but it was clearly different from the one shown on screen. Hugh Jackman literally has a scrotum on his neck. A scrotum. This film killed me. Coming in at 2, The Fanatic 2019. I've talked about this movie numerous times over the last few weeks, but honestly I don't think you guys quite understand how bad this movie really is. The Fanatic is a 2019 psychological thriller directed and written by Fred Durst and stars John Travolta as a man obsessed with meeting his favourite actor. Now the movie is straight up ridiculous, also offensive, and watching it put me in physical pain. You may think I'm joking, but I'm not. It was a bizarre choice, and part of me believes this movie must have been funded by Scientology, because no one in their right mind would fund this movie willingly, unless they had a gun to their head. What begins as a man with an unknown disability pursuing his favourite actor quickly turns into a night of torture, which results in, spoilers ahead, Travolta's hand getting blown off by a gun and his eye getting stabbed. It's ridiculous and makes me hope Travolta will give up acting tomorrow. It's about time. And finally, coming in at number 1, Scary Movie 5 2013. Scary Movie 5 is a supernatural horror comedy that is the 5th and final installment in the Scary Movie franchise. It is also the only installment not to feature Cindy Campbell, played by Anna Faris, or Brenda Meeks, played by Regina Hall, due to the end of their storyline. The plot concerns the bizarre activity that follows a husband and wife after they bring home their newborn infant from the hospital. When they realize that a demon is stalking their family, they consult paranormal specialists and install numerous cameras to drive out the spirit. The movie spoofs the format of films such as Paranormal Activity, Mama, Sinister, Evil Dead, Inception, Black Swan, and Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Now the original Scary Movie movies were based on jokes and pop culture references, however Scary Movie 5 is laughable in all the wrong ways. Not to mention it forces us to laugh at all the over-the-top pop culture references over and over again. It's a juvenile movie even by Scary Movie standards, with the movie having a Metacritic score of 11 out of 100. The film even went on to earn 3 nominations at the 34th Golden Raspberry Awards, including Worst Supporting Actress for Lindsay Lohan, Worst Screen Combo for Lohan and Charlie Sheen, and Worst Prequel, Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel. Respect. Well, there we have it. You guys agree with our list? Were there any terrible movies that we missed? What movies are you looking forward to in 2020? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos. Top 10 biggest acting fails of 2019 you won't believe. Stephen George said, the biggest fail of 2019, my love life. Well, RIP to you. Sucks to be you, doesn't it? Dennis O'Brien said, this is where I expect people to rip The Rise of Skywalker. I would've, but I haven't seen it. Don't have the time. Hate Star Wars. Nicole Nichols said, oh my god, The Fanatic was so bad. I wish I saw this first so I didn't have to experience the movie. Well, also sucks to be you. David Kay said, Lucy, when will we ever see you in a movie? You'll never see me in the movie. I do not want to be an actress. No offense to actresses. I just don't want to be that. Joan Ford said, you're a freaking hysterical. Love your channel. Thank you very much. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Beyond Screen vid. Until next time, see you later.